let's talk about wireless mice. For a long time, they were seen as kind of laggy and frustrating, but not anymore. Now, they're basically a high-performance essential. But with so many options out there, how in the world do you choose the right one? Well, that's what we're here for. We're going to break down all the tech and the features to help you find the perfect mouse for whatever it is you do. So here's the plan. First, we're going to talk about the pure joy of getting rid of that extra cable. Then, we'll take a peek under the hood to see what makes these things so incredibly fast. After that, we'll dive into the specific features that you should actually care about. And finally, we'll put it all together so you can walk away knowing exactly what you need. Okay, so let's start with the big question. Why even go wireless in the first place? I mean, beyond just making your desk look cleaner, what's the real advantage here? What problem does it actually solve? I think every single one of us knows this feeling. That one pesky cable that's always snagging on the edge of the desk or getting tangled up with your coffee mug, it just makes an otherwise clean setup feel messy. It's a small thing, sure, but it's a daily frustration. The benefits, honestly, are pretty immediate. You get that clean workspace and just total freedom to move around. But the single biggest leap forward, it's the performance. The old argument that wireless mice are slow and laggy, that's just not true anymore. And this number right here proves it. The old myth about wireless lag is officially busted. We're talking about polling rates of up to 1,000 hertz on high-end mice, which means you get a 1 millisecond response time. That is so fast, it's indistinguishable from a wired mouse. Even pro gamers are using them in competitions now. The lag is gone, period. So the benefits are clear. They're super fast. But how does it all actually work? You know, understanding just a little bit about the tech inside these things can really help you make a smarter choice. So let's take a look. Okay, so at a high level, there are really two main ways these mice connect. You've got 2.4 gigahertz radio frequency, or RF, which uses a little USB dongle to create its own private, super fast connection. Then you have Bluetooth, which just connects directly to your computer, no dongle needed, which is great for freeing up a USB port. And this table really lays it all out. If you're a gamer or you just need that absolute maximum responsiveness for work, that 2.4 gigahertz dongle is going to be your best friend. For pure convenience, especially with a laptop or a tablet, Bluetooth is fantastic because there's no dongle to lose. And then for the pros who want the best of both worlds, you've got dual mode mice that can switch between the two, though they do tend to cost a bit more. You're going to see these terms thrown around a lot, so let's just quickly define them. Polling rate. Think of it as how many times per second the mouse tells the computer where it is. Higher number, smoother movement. Simple. And DPI, or dots per inch, that's just sensitivity. The higher the DPI, the less you have to move your hand to make the cursor fly across the screen. Now, what's actually inside the mouse? Well, most use an optical sensor, which works great pretty much anywhere. Some fancier ones use a laser sensor, which is amazing on tricky surfaces like glass. And for power, you've got options. You can go with replaceable batteries that last for ages, sometimes years, or get the convenience of a built-in rechargeable battery. Some can even charge wirelessly on a special mouse pad. Okay, enough of the internal tech specs. Let's shift gears and talk about the stuff you'll actually see and feel, the features that really shape your experience and make a difference in your day-to-day use. The button layout can totally change your workflow. We all know the standard 3, right? But just adding those forward and back thumb buttons, wow, what a quality of life improvement for browsing. And then you get to the pro level stuff with fully programmable buttons that let you create custom shortcuts for your favorite apps. It's a huge time saver. And here's a feature you might not even think about until you desperately need it. Silent click mice are an absolute game changer. If you work in a quiet office, a library, or you're a night owl, these are for you. They use special switches that give you that same satisfying clicky feel, but they cut the actual noise by over 90%. Oh man, this is so crucial. Ergonomics is not just a buzzword. It's about comfort and avoiding long-term strain. Now, you can see that over half of people use a palm grip where your whole hand rests on the mouse, but tons of people use a claw or fingertip grip. The key here isn't to pick the most popular one, but to find a mouse that's literally shaped for your hand and your grip. It makes all the difference. And then you've got these awesome convenience features. Multi-device pairing is incredible. You can control your desktop, laptop, and tablet all with one mouse. Dongle storage is a must-have if you travel. And things like hyperfast scrolling for zipping through huge documents, or software that lets you drag files from one computer to another, it's just next-level stuff. All right, we've covered the why, the how, and the what. So for this last part, we're going to bring it all together.
and really help you figure out which mouse is the perfect match for you.
So, how do you pick? It all comes down to what you're using it for. Look at this chart. If you're at a desk all day, you need great ergonomics for comfort. If you're a gamer, you need that low latency and high DPI for pure precision. If you travel a lot, you want something small with good battery life. Just find your scenario on this list, and it'll point you right to the features that matter most. And whatever you do, don't forget about battery life, because wow, the differences are huge. A top-tier gaming mouse might get you around 70 hours. A rechargeable office mouse could last for 2 months. But then you have some mice that run on a single AA battery and can last for more than 2 years. So really think about how often you're okay with plugging in or swapping out a battery. At the end of the day, it's clear that wireless mice have really arrived. The old compromises are a thing of the past. You don't have to choose between performance and convenience anymore. You really can have it all. And the freedom you get from cutting that cord can totally change how you use your computer every day. And that's our breakdown. By just focusing on how you're actually going to use your mouse, whether it's for work, gaming, or travel, you can cut through all the marketing noise and find the one that's perfect for you. For more info and to check out some great options that might fit your needs, you can visit our website, Forest Solution. Thanks for tuning in.